What if I told you you could monetize your business by becoming an author? Yes, indeed, you can. I've done it. I'm actually a 5-time best-selling author. Hey there, I'm Carol J. Dunlop, the online wow strategist, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to Marketing Monday Summit Series. So glad that you're here. Today's presenter is Tamika Sims. She's from the Authority Marketing Summit, and she's going to be talking about monetizing the right way, WRITE, right way. She's going to dig deep into how publishing your book can give you the money that you want in your business. All right, let's go. And don't forget to click on the link and get your swag.
Hi there, it is Tamika Sims here. First of all, before I begin to introduce myself and share my content, I want to thank Carol for this amazing opportunity to be one of the speakers for the Authority Virtual Marketing Summit. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present to your audience. And to those of you that are watching this video, thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. I hope that you have been able to maximize the content that has been shared with you thus far, and I'm looking forward to making my own contribution to that as well. So, as I stated, I am Tamika L. Sims. I am the CEO of Get Right with Tamika LLC. And what we do is we provide book writing strategy sessions, publishing consulting sessions, as well as author coaching to those individuals who desire to write, release, and publish their life stories. I like to say that I help ordinary people do extraordinary things with words. Before I became a book coach, before I became a consultant in this space, I actually am an author myself. I published my first book actually 10 years ago this year. So this September, I celebrate being published for a decade, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm incredibly proud of that accomplishment. And the reason that I'm honored to share in this space is because throughout this past 10 years, I know what the power of writing, releasing one book, how that can literally change your life, because it's done the same thing for me. When I started to write my book, I had no desire to make a profit off of it. I didn't think about branding, building a business. There wasn't as much conversation about that 10 years ago as it is today. And especially in this time of COVID-19, we're living still in the pandemic. So there's a lot going on. A lot has changed about our world, and the publishing industry is certainly a contributor to that as well. So I have grown from one book to now being published 5 times over. I'm actually currently working on my 6th, which I hope to release this year. In addition to that, I have helped more than 100 people write, release, and publish their stories, as well as I have worked with men, women, and children. My youngest author was 9 years old. My oldest has been 72. So I believe that you're never too young and you're never too old to publish your story if that is your desire to do so. So before we end, I'll share with you how you can connect with me, visit my website, and all of the things, so that you can connect with me, so that we can continue this conversation. But for the purposes of today, I want to talk about why it's important to be an authority and how you can effectively monetize the right way. And right is WRITE, but it's pretty much a play on words right there. But the first thing I want to start with is the definition. I am a big believer in words. I'm in the business of books, which means that I'm in the business of words. And so one of the things that I like to do is to define so that it sets the foundation and the tone for our conversation on today. And that is, let's look at what the word authority really means. And let's break that down as it pertains to the context of our conversation on today. The word authority means freedom. And I love that portion of the definition, because I believe that when we take ownership of our area, when we take ownership of the spaces that we're supposed to operate in, when we take ownership of our zone of genius, then it brings about a level of freedom. Why? Because first of all, it means that we're operating from the most authentic space possible. It means we're operating from the most authentic space possible. What I like to tell my clients is, no matter how you choose to market your book, sell your book, whatever the topic is that you choose to present on, you have to give the reader you. And that is what I'm going to say to you guys on today, is that you have to give your reader, you have to give your audience, you have to give your communities you. People aren't buying products, they're not buying services, they're not just buying books, they are buying you. So when you take ownership of the space that you are in, you begin to operate operate in this space of freedom. And when you operate in this space of freedom, you can take a certain level of command over the area that you are choosing to operate in. So whether you are choosing to be a nonfiction writer, and you want to release your story about a particular topic that you're passionate about, think leadership, think personal development. Maybe your jam is success. So whatever the topic of choice is that you're wanting to write, release, and publish your story on, take ownership of that area, which means that you need to learn everything that you need to learn. You need to spend time studying what you need to study. You need to have the conversations that you need to have. You need to make the moves that you need to make. You will never be a person in command if you're not willing to do those things. That's what being an authority looks like. It's not about exercising a certain level of power and control. No, it's about taking ownership. Because when I'm the most authentic person of me, when I'm choosing to really take command over the area that I say that I am called or have been, led to, then that brings freedom. Freedom for me to move how I want to move, freedom for me to operate how I want to operate, freedom for me to share my message as freely as I choose to. And that is why this is so important. So the first point I want you to understand as it pertains to monetizing the right way is that it gives you an opportunity to showcase your expertise. That's what we want. We want you to showcase your expertise. One of the things that we learned through this pandemic is that it leveled the playing field. Literally, the folks that we may look up to on television, the folks we may listen to on radio, the individuals that we may, listen to on a podcast or whatever the medium is of how you are choosing to receive your content, everybody is on the same level. Everybody was placed on the same level, right? But it did not mean that there weren't individuals that were thought leaders that were coming to the forefront. It didn't mean that individuals that were releasing their stories weren't coming to the forefront, that their voices weren't being heard, that their stories weren't being told. No, it is the exact opposite. Because we have been building strong communities, because we have been laying the foundations for our businesses and for our books and our stories, this only put us in a better position to showcase our expertise. But that's if you maximize the time that has been given to you. That's what monetize the right way is about maximizing your message, maximizing the ways that you can turn a profit, maximizing the ways that you can build revenue. The thing about writing a book, and this is what I want you to understand, is that writing a book is not just about the story that's being produced. No, I want to help change your mindset on today in that writing a book is essentially you becoming a business. When you become a business, you understand that there are certain elements of a business that you need to bring to the table of your book, which means that you have to understand how to market, which means that you have to understand how to develop your message. It means that you have to be able to clearly identify your target market and audience. It means that you have to get out there and meet new people, make those connections, build those relationships. That's what it means when you see your book as a business and not just a product that's going to sit on the shelf. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, my business partner says this all the time, is that books have no shelf life. So if you think that you're just going to release your story and publish it for just the one time, I am so sorry, but you're in for a rude awakening. I'm going to burst your bubble on today. Books have no shelf life. So you should constantly be talking about it, marketing it, pushing it, promoting it, and asking of how you pitching yourself for summits and presentations and conferences, webinars, podcasts, interviews, etc. That's how you monetize the right way. And all of those things may not yield to money, but there is still a level of compensation that is happening for you if you know how to maximize it. Right? So it gives you that opportunity to showcase your expertise. And that is just so very, very important because you want to be a thought leader of this generation. You want, when people think about, let's say, success or, personal development, that they think of you because you're at the top of their mind. And the reason that you're at the top of their mind is because you are doing an excellent job of showcasing your expertise. Now, I know many of you watching this may say, Tamika, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not a big fan of social media. I don't like to talk about myself that often. As a matter of fact, it turns me off when I see other people doing that. And I understand your point. However, here's a caveat, is that if you don't tell your story, if you're not putting yourself out there to the level that you're really supposed to be, then the people who need to receive from you can't get what they need. The people who need to receive from you, they can't get what they need. And these are just the facts. So would you want to be known as the leader operating in this space, but that's not really leading? Would you want to be known as someone that's perceived as an authority, but you're not really exercising it because you're not showing up? No. That's the reason that you're participating in this summit, is because you want to understand those elemental principles of marketing, of being an authority. And writing, releasing, and publishing your story is a part of that. The next point is that it forever solidifies your voice. Here's the thing about publishing. Publishing is forever. Publishing is forever. It's here for your generation, the next generation, and the next generation. So what do you want to be known for, and who do you want to be known as? Even if you don't want to write nonfiction, let's say you have a desire in your mind for a fictional series where there are some characters, there's a story, there's a family that's been burning in you, but you're not quite sure what to do with that. You can become known as the next up and coming great fictional writer. Right. And that happens through the publication of your work and through the solidifying of your voice. That's how that happens. That's where that comes from. But you got to put yourself out there. You have to understand that it's not just about a one-time thing. It's not just about publishing and forgetting about it. No, I can't tell you the number of times. And I'm remembering one example specifically of a woman I spoke to. She actually was a science fiction writer. And she said she had written 13 books, and had not sold one. She literally was writing, releasing, and publishing stories to literally sit on her bookshelf. Can you imagine not tapping into the full power of her voice? The sci-fi writers that may be interested in working with her, the reading communities, the book clubs, the writing clubs who want to meet someone who was writing in her genre, but because she wasn't pushing or promoting or marketing, they couldn't get access to her. And what a sad, sad state of affairs. And I don't want that to be said about any of you. So everything that's going to be shared during this summit is going to be about helping you to become the authority in your industry and in your area. And then the third and final point is you become the catalyst for change. You become the catalyst for change. What does that look like, Tamika? In that you have the power through your words to change somebody's life. You have the power through your words to start the transformation for someone's life. You have the power to help them to navigate a new way to be, a new way to think, a mindset shift. You have the power to help them become a better person through your words. That's the power of a book, because a book is just simply a collection of your words, your thoughts, your ideas that you're putting on paper in hopes that it's going to help somebody else. So you literally become the catalyst for change. My first book was about my experience of coming out of an abusive relationship, but my abuser was a deacon in the church. How many victims in the faith community have been physically abused by their partners, but they've never said anything? And I knew that the assignment given to me was to say something, and say something specifically to those individuals in the faith community. I know that my story became the catalyst for change so that other survivors could find their voices, so that other survivors could take back their power, so that I could give language to the experiences that some of these other individuals have had. Because I chose to be the first partaker. I chose to put myself out there. There were a lot of negative ramifications. There were a lot of negative consequences, some legal things, as you guys can imagine. But I knew that my story was much bigger than me. And that's what I want you to understand, is that your story is much bigger than you. It's much bigger than you. So you got to take ownership. You got to be the authority in your space. You have to understand who you are. And when you tap into these three areas and many more that I'm sure you're going to learn today, you learn how to effectively monetize the right way. You learn how to effectively monetize your message. So again, think outside of the box as it pertains to your book. I've given you some examples. Think about podcasting. Think about getting on radio shows. Pitch yourself for speaking opportunities. If your book is a good fit for your local college and university curriculum, don't be afraid to reach out to a professor, a college dean, a program director, so that you can get yourself known. I know we're still in the middle of a pandemic. I know you may not be able to meet these individuals face to face, but you can pick up the phone. You can send an email. You can mail out copies of your book. There's still things that you can do to make sure that you are establishing your voice and yourself as an authority in your industry. Before I go, I want to let you know about my free gift that I have for you. It is the Ink Pen Divas Guide to Success for Authors. It is my proven 5 success principles that I have been able to utilize through my clients and those that aren't my clients, but I've just had a desire to share. So it is my free gift to you. It is a complimentary ebook, and you'll see that information on the screen here. So I hope that you enjoy. Thank you so much again, Carol, for this opportunity to present and serve as one of your speakers. Thank you to this audience who has been listening. I hope that I have said something today that has been of benefit to you, as well as that will help you understand the importance of monetizing your message. And hey, if you ever have a desire to write a book, feel free to connect with me at www.getrightwithtamika.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
I hope you enjoyed that video from Tamika, and I hope that you're ready to go out there and start writing your book so you can monetize your business just like I've been able to do. Thank you so much, Tamika, for that. It was awesome. All right, look out for our next video from Amani Channel of the Unmarket Your Business Virtual Summit. He's going to be talking about the ABCs of video marketing and show you some pretty unique ways that you can get over your fear of video marketing. See you then.